and charge ingloriously in my flight, when such an overthrow of brave friends I have authored. But to his mightiest will we must submit us, that hath raised and will be raising still men's footsteps from so many towns. Because his power is most, he will destroy most. But how vile such and so great an host will show to future times, that, matched with lesser numbers far, we fly, not putting on the crown of our so long held war, of which there appears no end. Yet should our foes and we strike truce and number both our no end. Yet should our foes and we strike truce and number both our powers, Troy taking all that be her armed inhabitants, and we in tens should all sit down. At our truce banquet, every 10 allowed one of the allowed one of the town to fill his feast cup, many 10s with their attendant want. So much I must affirm our power exceeds the inhabitant. But their auxiliary bands, these brandishers of spears, from many these brandishers of spears from many cities drawn, are they that are our hinderers, not suffering well-raised Troy to fall. 9 years are ended now, since Jove our conquest vowed, and now our vessels rotten grow. Our tackling fails, our wives, young sons, sit in their doors and long for our arrival. Yet a work for our arrival. For our in their doors and long for our arrival. And long for our arrival. Their doors and long for our arrival. Yet the work that doors and long for our arrival. Yet the work that should have wreaked our wrong and made us welcome lies unwrought. Come then, as I bid all, obey and fly to our loved home, for now nor ever shall our for now nor ever shall our nor ever for now nor nor ever now nor ever shall our utmost take in broad, nor ever shall our for now nor ever shall to our loved home, for now nor ever shall our utmost take in broad-wayed Troy. This said, the wayed Troy. This said, the multitude was all for home. This said, and all men else, all the crowd, and all men else, the multitude was all for home. The said, the multitude. This said, the multitude was all for home, and all men was all for home, and all men else that what this would conclude had not discovered. All the crowd was shoved about the shore in sway, like rude and raging waves, roused with the fervent blore of the east and south winds, when they break from Jove's clouds and are borne on rough backs of the Icarian seas, or like a field of corn, high grown, that zephyrs like a field of corn, or like a field of corn, high grown, that field of corn, like a field of corn, high grown, that Zephyr's vehement gusts bring easily underneath, and make the stiff up-bristled ears do homage to his breath. Vehement gusts bring easily underneath, and make the stiff up-bristled ears do homage to his bristled ears, up-bristled ears, and make the stiff up-bristled ears do homage to his breath, for even so easily, with the groan, that Zephyr's vehement gusts bring easily underneath, and make the stiff up-bristled ears do homage to his breath, for even so easily, with the breath Atrides used, was swayed the violent multitude to fleet with shouts and disarrayed. All rushed, and with a fog of dust their rude feet dimmed the day. Each cried to other, "Cleanse our ships, come, launch aboard away! Cleanse our ships, come, launch aboard away! Come, launch aboard, come, come, launch aboard away! Cleanse our ships, 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 cried to other, "Cleanse our ships, come, launch aboard away!" The clamor of the runners home reached heaven, and then past fate. The Greeks had left Troy, had not then the goddess of a and then past fate. The Greeks had left Troy, had not then left Troy. Greeks had left Troy, had not then the goddess of a fate. The Greeks had left Troy, had not then the goddess of a state thus spoke to Pallas. "O foul shame! Goddess of a state thus spoke to Pallas. To Pallas. O foul shame, thou untamed seed of Jove! Shall thus the seas brought back be charged with these our friends remove? Thus leaving Argive Helen here, thus Priam graced, thus Troy, in whose fields far from their loved town, for Helen's sake, the joy and life of so much Grecian birth is vanished. Take thy way. To our brass-armed people speak them fair, let not a man obey the charge now given, nor take thy way. To our brass-armed people, speak them fair. Let not a man obey the charge now given, nor launch one ship. She said, and Pallas did. She said, and Pallas did as she commanded. One ship, she said. She said, and Pallas did as she commanded. She said, and Pallas did. One ship, she said, and Pallas did as she commanded. From the tops of heaven's steep hills she slid, and straight the Greek swift ships, and straight the Greek swift ships she reached. Ulysses, like to Jove, in gifts of counsel she found out, who to that base remove stirred not a foot, nor touched a ship, but grieved at heart to see that grieved his heart, but grieved to him close, but grieved his grieved at touched a ship, but grieved his heart to see ship, but grieved his heart touched a ship, but grieved his heart to see that fault, and stirred not a foot. Or touched a ship, but grieved his heart to see that ship, but grieved at heart. Foot, nor touched a ship, but grieved his heart to see that fault in others. To him close the blue-eyed deity made way and said, Thou wisest Greek, divine Laertes' son, thus fly ye homewards to your ships? Shall all thus headlong run? Glory to Priam thus ye leave, glory to all his friends? If thus ye leave her here, for whom so many violent ends have closed your Greek eyes, and so far from their loved home. It's funny how many times I'm doing this recording like 10 days after the previous one, so it's actually more than 10 days. So it's the blue-eyed deity, and so far from their way and said, Thou wisest Greek, divine Laertes' son, thus fly ye homewards to your ships? Shall all thus headlong run? Thus fly ye homewards to your ships? Shall all thus headlong run? Homewards to your ships? Shall all thus fly ye homewards to your ships? Shall all thus divine Laertes' son, thus divine Laertes' son, thus fly ye homewards to your ships? Shall all thus headlong run? Glory to Priam, thus ye leave, glory to all his friends, glory to thus headlong run? Glory to Priam, thus ye leave, glory to all his friends, if thus ye leave her here, for whom so many violent ends have closed your Greek eyes, and so far from their so loved home. Go to these people, use no stay, with fair terms overcome their foul endeavor. Not a man, not their foul endeavor. Not a man a flying sail let hoist. Not a man a flying sail let hoist. A flying a man a flying sail. Not a man a flying sail let hoist. Thus spake she, and Ulysses knew 'twas Pallas by her voice. Ran to the runners, cast him, and Ulysses knew 'twas Pallas by her voice. Ran to the Pallas by her voice. Ulysses knew 'twas Pallas. Thus spake she, and Ulysses knew 'twas Pallas by her voice. Ran to the runners, cast from him his mantle, which his man and herald grave Eurybates, the Ithacensian, that followed him, took up. The Ithacensian that followed him took Ithacensian that the Ithacensian that followed him took up. Himself to Agamemnon went, his corrupt. Himself to Agamemnon went, his in. Up. Himself to Agamemnon went. Himself to Agamemnon went. His incorrupted scepter took, his scepter of descent, and with it went about the fleet. What prince or man of name he found flight given, he would restrain with words of gentlest blame. Good sir, it fits not you to fly. Good sir, it restrain with words of gentlest blame. Of gentlest blame. Good sir, it fits not you to fly or fare as one afraid. You should not only stay yourself, but see the people stayed. You know not clearly, though you heard the king's words, yet his mind, he tries. You know not clearly, you know not stayed. You know not clearly, though you heard the king's words, yet his mind. He only tries the men's spirits now. He only tries men's yet his mind. He only tries men's spirits now, and whom his trials find apt to this course he will chastise. Nor you nor I heard all he spake in council, nor durst press all he spake in council, nor durst press too near our general. Nor you nor I heard all he spake in council, nor durst press too near our general, lest we incensed him to our hurt. The anger of a king is mighty, he is kept out of Jove. Is mighty, is mighty, he is kept of Jove, and from Jove likewise spring, and from Jove likewise of Jove, and from Jove like Jove, and from Jove likewise spring his honors, which out of the love of wise Jove, spring his honors, which out of the love of wise Jove he enjoys. Thus he enjoys. Thus he the best sort used. The worst, whose he the best sort used. The worst, whose spirits break out in noise. Thus he the best sort used. The worst, whose spirits break out in noise, he cudgeled with his scepter, chid, and said, Stay, wretch, be still, and hear thy betters. Thou art base, and both in power and skill, poor and unworthy. Without name, in council or in war, we must not all be kings. The rule is most irregular, where many. The rule is most irregular. Not all be kings. The rule is most irregular, where many rule. One lord, one king proposed to thee, and he, to whom Saturn's son hath given both law and empery to rule the public, is that king. Thus ruling, he restrained the host from flight, and then again the council was maintained. Is that king. Thus ruling, he restrained the host from flight, and thus ruling, he restrained the host from flight, and then again the council was maintained. With such a concourse, thus that king. Thus ruling, he restrained the host from flight, And then again the council was maintained. With such a concourse, the council was maintained. With such a again the council. And then again the council was maintained, with such a concourse that the shore rung with the tumult made, as when the far resounding sea doth in its rage invade his sandy confines, whose sides groan with his involved wave, and make his own breast echoes sighs, all sate and audience gave. Thersites only would speak all, sate and audience gave. Thersites only would speak all, a most disordered store of words he foolishly poured out, of which his mind held more than it could manage. Anything with which he could procure held more than it could manage. Anything with which he could procure laughter, yet never could contain. He should have yet been sure to touch no kings. To oppose their states becomes not jesters' parts. But he, the filthiest fellow of all, was of all that had deserts in jesters' parts. But he, the filthiest fellow, was of all that had deserts in Troy's brave siege. Jesters' parts. But he, the filthiest fellow, was of all that had deserts in Troy's brave siege. He was squint-eyed and lame of either foot, so crook-backed that he had no breast, sharp-headed, where did shoot, here and there spursed, had no breast, sharp-headed. He had no breast, sharp-headed, where did shoot, here and there spursed, thin mossy hair. He most of all envied Ulysses and Aeacides, whom still his thin mossy hair, he most of all did shoot, here and there spursed, thin mossy hair. He most of all envied Ulysses and Aeacides, whom still his spleen would chide. Nor could the sacred king himself avoid his saucy vein, against whom, since he knew the Greeks did vehement hate sustain, being angry for Achilles' wrong, he cried out, railing thus. For Achilles' wrong, cried out, railing thus. Atrides, towns resign. Atrides, why complainst thou now? Being angry for Achilles' wrong, he cried out, railing thus. Atrides, why complainst thou now? What wouldst thou more of us? Thy tents are full of brass, and dames the choice of all are thine, with whom we must present thee first, when any towns resign to our invasion. Want'st thou then towns resign to our invasion? Want'st thou then more invasion? Want'st thou then invasion? Want'st thou then, besides all this, more gold from I hit a button. Invasion. Want'st thou then, besides all this, more gold from Troy's knights to redeem their sons, to whom be dearly sold? From Troy's knights to redeem their sons, whom to Troy's knights to redeem their sons, whom to be dearly sold, I or some other Greek must take? Or wouldst thou yet again force from some other lord his prize, to soothe the lusts that reign in thy encroaching appetite? It fits no reign that reign in thy encroaching appetite. It fits no prince to be a prince of ill, and govern us, or lead our progeny by, or lead our progeny, or lead our pro, lead our pro, or lead our progeny by rape to ruin. O base Greeks, deserving infamy and ills eternal, Greekish girls, not Greeks are ye. Come, flee, and leave this man here with his praise. Greeks are ye. Come, flee home with our ships. Leave this man here to perish with his praise. And if we try with his praise, and try with his praise, with his praise, perish with his praise, and perish with his praise. Leave this man here to perish. Man here to perish with his praise, and try if we helped him or not. He wronged a man that weighs far here to perish with his praise, and try if we helped him or not. His praise, and try if we helped him or not. He wronged a man that weighs far more than himself. He wronged a man that weighs far more than he weighs far more than he himself. That weighs far more than he himself in worth. He forced from Thetis' son, and keeps his prize still. Nor think I that mighty man hath won the style of wrathful worthily, and keeps his prize still. His son, and keeps his prize still. Nor think I that mighty man keeps his prize still. Nor think I that mighty man hath won the style of wrathful worthily. He's soft, he's too remiss, or else Atrides, this had been thy last of injuries. Thus he the people's pastor chid, but straight stood up to him divine Ulysses, who, with looks exceeding grave and grim, this bitter check gave. Cease, vain fool, to vent thy railing vein, exceeding grave and grim, this bitter check gave. Bitter check gave. This bitter check gave. Cease, vain fool, to vent thy cease, vain fool. Cease, vain fool. Gave. Cease, vain fool, to vent thy railing vein on kings thus. Though it serve thee well, nor think thou canst restrain with that. Thou canst restrain with. Thou canst restrain with that thy railing faculty their wills in least degree. For not a worst of all this host came. For not a worst their wills in least degree. For not a worse of all this host came without wills in least degree. For not a worse of all this host came with our king than thee to Troy's great. With our king than thee to than thee to Troy's great siege. Then do not take into that mouth of thine the names of kings, much less revile the dignities that shine in their supreme states, resting thus this motion for our home to soothe thy cowardice, since ourselves yet know not what will come of these designments, if it be of these designments, if it designments, if it be our good assignments, if it be our good to stay or go. Nor is it thou standest on, nor is it that be our good to stay or go. Nor is it that thou standst on our revilest, nor is it that thou standest on, thou standst on, thou stand, thou is it that thou standest on, nor is it that thou standest good to stay or go. Nor is it that thou standest on, thou revilest our general so, only because he hath so much not given by such as thou, but our heroes. Therefore this thy rude vein makes me vow, which shall be curiously observed, if ever I shall hear this madness from thy mouth again, let not Ulysses bear this head. Let not Ulysses bear Ulysses let not Ulysses bear this head. Not Ulysses bear Ulysses bear this head, nor be the father called Ulysses bear this head, nor be the father called of young Telemachus. If to thy nakedness I take and strip thee not, and thus whip thee to strip thee not, and thus whip thee to fleet from counsel. Send with sharp stripes weeping hence this glory thou affects to rail. This said is insolent. Send with sharp stripes weeping hence this glory thou affects to rail. This said, his insolence he settled with his scepter, struck his back and shoulders so that bloody wheels rose. He shrunk round, and from his eyes did flow moist tears. Shoulders so that bloody wails rose. He shrunk round, he shoulders so that bloody so struck his back and shoulders so that bloody wails rose. He shrunk round, and from his eyes did flow moist tears, and looking filthily he sate, feared, smarted, dried his blubbered cheeks, and all the priests threw moist tears, and looking sate, feared, moist tears, and looking filthily from his eyes did flow moist tears, and looking filthily he sate, feared, smarted, dried his blubbered cheeks, feared, smarted, dried his feared, smarted, sate, looking filthily he sate, feared, smarted, dried his blubbered cheeks, and all the priests, though cheeks, and all the priests, though grieved to be denied their wished retreat for home, yet laughed delightsomely, and spake, either to other, O gods, O ye gods, either to other, author of counsels great, and spake, either to other, O ye gods, how infinitely take Ulysses' virtues in our good, author of counsels great in ordering armies, author of counsels great in ordering virtues in our good, author of counsels great in ordering armies. How most well this act became his heat, to beat from counsel this rude fool. I think his saucy spirit hereafter will not let his tongue abuse the sovereign merit, except from such base tongues as his. Sovereign merit, exempt exempt from such base tongues as his. Thus spake the sovereign merit, exempt from such base sovereign merit. His tongue abused the sovereign merit, exempt from such the sovereign merit, exempt from such sovereign merit, exempt from such base tongues as his. Exempt from such base tongues as his. Thus spake the people, exempt from such base tongues as his. Thus spake the people. Then the city-razor Ithacus stood up to speak again, holding his scepter. Close to him gray-eyed Minerva stood, and, like a herald, his scepter. Close to him gray-eyed scepter. Close to him holding his scepter. Close to him gray-eyed scepter. Scepter. Close to him gray holding his scepter. Close to him gray-eyed Minerva stood, and, like a herald, silence caused that all the archive silence caused that silence caused that all the archive brood, from first to last, might hear and know the counsel, when inclined, might hear and know the counsel, might hear and know the counsel, might hear and know the counsel, when, inclined to all their good, Ulysses said, Atrides, now I find these men would rather. Now I find these men. Now Atrides, now I find these men would render thee the shame of all men, nor would pay their vow, nor would pay their own men. Thee the shame of all men, nor would pay their own vows to thee when they took their free and honored way from Argos hither, that till Troy were by their brave hands raised, nor would pay their own vows to thee, nor shame of all men, nor would pay their own vows to thee when they took their free and honored way from Argive their free and honored way. An honored way. They took their free and honored way from Argos hither, that, till Troy were by their brave hands raised, they would not turn home. Yet, like babes and widows, now they haste to that base refuge. 'Tis us. They haste to that base refuge. 'Tis us to that base refuge. refuge. 'Tis a spite to see men melted so in womanish changes, though 'tis true that if a man do go only a month to sea, and leave his wife far off, and he, tortured with winter storms and tossed with a tumultuous sea, grows heavy and would home, whom the thrice heavy and would home. Heavy and would home. Us then, to whom the thrice 3 year grows heavy and would home. Us then, to whom the thrice 3 year grows heavy and would home. Us then, to whom the thrice 3 year hath filled his revoluble orb since our us then, to whom and would home, grows heavy and would home. Us then, to whom the thrice 3 year hath filled his revoluble orb since our hath filled his revoluble orb since our arrival here, I blame not to wish home much more. Yet all this time to stay, out of our judgments for our end, and now to take our way without it were absurd and vile. Sustain then, friends, abide, the time set to our object. Try if Calchas prophesied. We know to our object. Try if Calchas prophesied true of the time or not. We know yet time or not. We know ye all can witness well, whom these late death-conferring fates have failed to send to hell, that when in Aulus failed to send to hell, that when in Aulus all our fleet assembled with a freight of ills to Iliad and her friends, beneath the fair ills to Iliad and her friends, beneath the fair-grown height a platen bore about a font whence crystal water flowed, and near our holy altar we upon the gods bestowed accomplished hecatombs. And there appeared a huge portent, a dragon with a bloody scale, horrid to sight, and sent to light by great Olympius, which crawling from beneath the altar to the from beneath the altar which crawling from beneath the altar to the platen climbed, and ruthless crashed to death a sparrow's crashed to death a sparrow's young, in number 8, that in a top bough lay, hid under leaves, the dam the 9th, that hovered every way, mourning her loved birth, till at length the serpent, mourning her loved birth, leaves, the dam the 9th, that hovered every way, mourning her loved birth, till at length the serpent, watching her wing caught and devoured her too. This dragon, Jupiter, that brought him forth, turned to a stone, and made a powerful mien to stir our zeals up, that admired when of a fact so clean of all ill as our sacrifice, so fearful and ostent should be the issue. Calchas then thus prophesied the event. And thus why are you dumbstruck? So fearful and ostent should be the issue. Calchas then thus prophesied. Calchas then thus prophesied the event. Why are you? Calchas then and ostent should be the issue. Calchas then thus prophesied the event. Why are you? Prophesied the event. Why are you dumbstruck, fair-haired Greeks? Wise Jove is he hath shown this strange ostent to us. 'Twas late and passing lately done, but that grace it foregoes to us. And passing lately done, but that grace passing lately done, but that grace it foregoes to us, for suffering all the state of his appearance being so slow, nor time shall end, nor fate, as these 8 sparrows and the dam that made the 9th were eat by this stern serpent, so 9 years. And the dam that made the 9th were eat by this stern serpent. So 9 years we are to endure the heat of ravenous war, and in the 10th take in this Broadway, 10th take in this Broadway, 10th take, and in the 10th take in this Broadway town. This war, and in the 10th take in this Broadway town of ravenous war, and in the 10th take in this Broadway town. Broadway town. Town. Thus he interpreted this. Take in this Broadway town. Broadway town. Thus he interpreted this sign, and all things have their crown as he interpreted, till now. The rest then to succeed, believe as certain. The rest then to succeed, believe as certain. Till now. The rest then to succeed, believe as certain. Stay we all, till that most glorious deed of taking this rich town, Stay we all, till that as certain. Stay we all, till that most glorious deed of taking this most glorious deed of taking this that most glorious deed till that most glorious deed of taking this rich town our hands are honored with. This said, the Greeks gave an unmeasured shout, which back the ships repaid with terrible echoes in applause of that persuasion, with terrible echoes in echoes, with terrible the ships repaid with terrible echoes in applause of that persuasion divine Ulysses used, with applause of that persuasion divine Ulysses used, which yet held no comparison, used, which divine Ulysses used, of that persuasion divine Ulysses used, which yet held no comparison with Nestor's next speech, which was this. Oh, no comparison, which was this. With Nestor's next speech, with Nestor's next no comparison, each, which was this, which yet held no comparison, no comparison, no comparison, used, which yet held no comparison, with Nestor's next speech, with Nestor's next speech, with Nestor's next speech, which yet held no comparison, with Nestor's next speech, which was this. O shameful thing, ye talk like children all that know not war. In what air's region walk our oaths and covenants? Now I see the fit respects of men are vanished quite. Our right hands given, our faiths, our counsels vain, our sacrifice with wine, all fled in that profaned flame we made to bind all. For thus to bind all. For thus still we vain persuasions frame, and strive to work our end with words, not joining stratagems and hands together. Stratagems, end with words, not joining stratagems, end with words. Strive to work our end with words, to work our end with words, not work our end with words, not joining stratagems, and hands work our end with words, not joining stratagems, and hands together, though thus long the power of our extremes have urged the patrious son of our extremes, power of our extremes have urged our extremes long the power of our extremes long the power of our extremes have urged us to them. Atreus' son, firm Atreus urged us to them. Atreus' son, firm as at first hour stand, make good thy purpose, make good thy purpose, take good thy purpose, take no more in counsels, but command in active field. Let 2 or 3 that by themselves advise faint in their crowning. They are such as are not truly wise. They will for Argos, ere they know if that, they will for Argos, ere they know if that, they will truly wise. They will truly wise. They will truly wise. They will for Argos, ere they know if that which Jove for Argos, ere they know if that which Jove hath said be true or false. I tell them all that high Jove bowed his head, at first said be false or true. I tell them all be true or false, be true or false, that which Jove hath said, that which Jove hath said, be false. Know if that which Jove hath said be false or true. I tell them all that high Jove bowed his head, as first we went aboard our fleet, for sign we should confer these Trojans their due fate and death. Almighty Jupiter death. Almighty death. almighty Jupiter, all that day darting forth his flames in an unmeasured light on our right hands, in an unmeasured light on our unmeasured in an unmeasured light on our right hands. Let therefore none once dream of coward flight, till for his own some wife of Troy he sleeps withal, the rape of Helen wreaking, and our sights enforced for her escape, our sights enforced for her escape. If any yet dare dote on home, let his dishonored haste his black and well-built bark but touch, that as he first disgraced his country's spirit, fate and death may first his spirit go, and death may first his spirit let go. But be thou wise, king, do not trust thyself, but others. No, I will not use an abject word. See all thy men arrayed in tribes and nations, nations may nations aid. Which doing thou shalt know what chiefs, what soldiers play the men, and what the cowards, for they all will fight in several then, easy for note. And then shalt thou, if thou destroyest not Troy,